안녕하세요.
The boardroom was colder than usual, not in temperature, but in tension. Ji-hoon sat at the head of the long polished table, surrounded by board members dressed in muted grays and blacks. Their eyes were weapons, sharpened with suspicion and veiled contempt. His stepmother, Madame Choi, sat to his left, regal, poised, and unreadable. "This company was built on reputation," she began smoothly, her voice slicing through the silence. "And recently, that reputation has begun to tremble." Ji-hoon remained still, back straight, face unreadable. Rumors of inappropriate conduct, favoritism, personal distractions affecting performance. "We are concerned, Ji-hoon. Very concerned." He knew this was coming. The whispers, the sideways glances, they had reached the summit. But he didn't flinch. "If anyone wishes to present evidence of misconduct, let them speak openly. Otherwise, I suggest we return to business." An older member leaned forward, adjusting his glasses. "We are not accusing. We are advising. Your father placed this company in your hands. We are only here to ensure his legacy is protected." "And I am protecting it," Ji-hoon replied firmly. "Despite the distractions. Despite the vultures." After the meeting, Ji-hoon stepped out onto the rooftop terrace, needing air. The city stretched out before him, glittering, soulless. Behind him, a familiar voice cut through the hum of wind. "You shouldn't provoke them like that." He turned. It was Yoon-suk, his lifelong friend and CFO. They're drawing blood either way. Yvonne Kawa. Yoon-suk sighed, stepping beside him. "You're making things harder for yourself. Is she really worth all this?" Ji-hoon didn't respond immediately. He looked out at the skyline, then said quietly, "She's the first thing that ever made me question what I actually want. Not what's expected. Not what's inherited. But what's mine." Yoon-suk studied him. "Then you better prepare. Because of us begun." Meanwhile, Hyejin stood at the back of the building, speaking in hushed tones with the head of HR. She had been asked to sign a new placement form, a transfer to a distant department, far from the executive wing. No explanation. Just protocol. She clutched the paper, heart thudding. Is this his decision? The woman avoided her eyes. "It's above my level. But you should take it. It's for your own protection." The divide was widening. One side, loyalty to self. The other, loyalty to legacy. And Hyejin and Ji-hoon now stood in the middle, slowly being pulled apart by forces older and colder than love.
The city ragged with summer storms, thunder shaking the glass towers like a warning from the heavens.
Ji-hoon sat alone in his office, staring out at the blur of lightning carving the sky. The storm outside was nothing compared to the one inside his heart. Hyejin hadn't spoken to him in days, not since the transfer order had been delivered. She didn't cry. She didn't protest. She simply vanished into a lower floor, like she never existed in his world to begin with. He hadn't signed that transfer. It had been done behind his back, by Madame Choi, in the name of protecting the company. His demands to reverse the decision were ignored. The board was watching him closely, and any move he made toward Hyejin would be used against him. So he stayed silent, but inside he burned. At midnight, unable to bear it anymore, he left his office and found himself standing outside the janitor's supply room on the second floor. He knocked. No answer. He knocked again. Finally, the door opened. Hyejin stood in the narrow space, wearing her faded uniform, hair tied back, hands trembling slightly. "What are you doing here?" she asked, voice small.
"Looking for the meeting in Eva Schuld let go."
She glanced behind her, as if someone might be watching. "You shouldn't be here. If anyone sees." "Let them," he cut in. "They've taken everything from me already. I won't let them take you too." Tears welled in her eyes, but she didn't let them fall. "You have a company to protect. A name. A future. I'm just a cleaning girl." He shook his head. "No.
You're the only person who ever SAVME. Not the Name, not the legacy, just me.
She stepped back, letting him into the room.
The light flickered overhead.
The silence between them was no longer awkward, it was heavy with meaning. He took a slow breath.
I love you, Hyojin.
Her lips parted, but no words came. I've loved you since the day you told me to stop acting like the world owed me something. She laughed softly through her tears. You were unbearable that day.
I still am.
He reached for her hand, but stopped just short of touching it. I'm going to resign. That shocked her.
What?
They think this company defines me. It doesn't. You do. She stared at him, torn between fear and hope. If you do that, they'll destroy you. Then let them try. I'd rather build something from the ground with you than inherit a world built on chains. She hesitated only a moment longer before stepping into his arms. For the first time, they embraced, not as boss and employee, but as two souls choosing each other against all odds. Two years later, the Grand Hall of Seoul's oldest cathedral overflowed with soft light and quiet awe. White lilies lined the aisle, and gold-trimmed pews were filled with people from every part of the city. Former executives, longtime staff, journalists, and distant relatives. Everyone had come for one reason, the wedding of Kang Ji-hoon and Yoon Hae-jin. He stood at the altar, no longer dressed in a tailored corporate suit, but in a crisp white tuxedo, elegant, but not excessive. His eyes searched the aisle as music began to swell. The doors opened. Hae-jin appeared, glowing in a simple silk gown, hair cascading in soft waves, a bouquet of peonies in hand. She walked slowly, each step a defiance of the past, of gossip, of corporate sabotage, of every obstacle that had once tried to keep them apart. Ji-hoon's heart pounded, not with nerves, but with the certainty of a man who had chosen love over legacy, and had still found both. After the ceremony, the reception moved to a garden just outside the city. Children ran between tables, laughter filled the air, and strings of lanterns glowed overhead like stars come down to bless the night.
Joonseo kreiset a glas for a toast.
2 years ago, I told Ji-hoon this love would destroy him. I've never been happier to be wrong. Laughter echoed, and Hae-jin squeezed Ji-hoon's hand under the table. He looked over at her, his eyes soft. We built something better than a company, he whispered.
Vi builta home.
Later, as the night deepened, they danced under the stars. No cameras. No press. Just the two of them, swaying to a rhythm only their hearts could hear. She rested her head on his chest.
Do you miss it? This your life.
He smiled.
Only the chair.
It was really comfortable.
Shellauket.
We can get a new one. For the nursery. He froze, then slowly pulled back to meet her gaze. Nursery. She nodded, eyes glistening. The man who once ruled skyscrapers, who once fought off boardroom vultures and family betrayal, now stood speechless in the middle of a garden, undone by 3 syllables. He pulled her into his arms. You've given me everything I didn't know I wanted. As the music played and stars blinked above, they danced, a billionaire and a cleaning girl, now husband and wife, writing their next chapter, not in contracts and ledgers, but in laughter, love, and lullabies.
Come and go, oh, our love will always grow. Through the storms and gentle rain, we'll bloom and start